Hey guys, Mike here. So today, I'm here to talk to you about The Darkest Minds. In this review, I'll be going over a brief summary of the plot, my quick thoughts about the film, and whether or not you should go and see it. So I'm going to try and keep this review spoiler-free. However, if you don't want to know anything about the film, and you want to go completely blind, then let's just come back to this video once you've seen the film. So with that, let's get started, shall we? So in this movie, a governing body rules over a collective of young adults. No, not that one. Not that one either. A little closer. Yep, that's the one, right there. Now, but in all seriousness, let's talk about this movie. The Darkest Mind stars Amanda Stenberg as Ruby. You may know her from Everything, Everything and the first Hunger Games movie. In The Darkest Minds, an unknown disease wipes out 90% of the children on Earth, and those who are left alive are left with special mutations. Because of this, the government decided to put the remaining children in special camps, where they are then sorted into one of 5 coloured groups. Eventually, Ruby breaks out of the camp, meets up with some other enhanced kids, and together they try and find a place that they can call home. Now, the first thing I noticed, or rather I should say, the first thing my friends noticed, was that the movie doesn't even follow its own designation scheme. At the start of the movie, they say that the order of the threat level goes green, blue, yellow, orange, and then red. But a little later on in the movie, when Ruby first sees the chart, orange and red have been switched round, and we thought that was kind of odd. Though I do have a theory as to why this was done, I can't really mention it right now because it enters spoiler territory. We just found that this was very odd and the film didn't really follow its own rules. If you can offer an explanation in the comments, then please go ahead and do that. Though at the start of the movie, the premise is quite interesting, and throughout the movie it is quite engaging for the most part. There does come a certain point where you realise that this movie isn't going to really do anything new. It's pretty much just going to be the same tired old format that we've seen in the last 10 years from these young adult movies. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing that we've seen in the past 10 years from these young adult movies. The kids are put in a situation they don't like, and they try and fight back against the mean grown-ups. I know this is oversimplifying the whole franchise and the whole genre itself, but there does come a certain point where we're just like, I've seen this before, what else can you do for me? Though having said that, I wouldn't say this is an all-round boring movie. The cast are definitely well chosen. Their acting is above the standard average for these kind of movies. And they do work together as an ensemble. And for the most part, I was quite enjoying this movie, but then there just comes a certain point where you stop and you really think about what's going on and how far-fetched it all is. I mean, for starters, again, this is something my friend said. Though I do agree with it, I can't really take credit for saying it. No matter how dire the situation, parents would never, ever let the government take away their kids, especially in America when nearly every single American has a gun on them, and they have a gun for these exact reasons. So to start off with, that's the most far-fetched thing about this movie. The other thing comes from the decision-making of these kids. If they stopped and thought for one more second, they'd probably have a better idea of how to get out of the situation that they're in. And lastly, one of the other issues I had with the movie was with the soundtrack. The soundtrack sounded like someone went on their computer, looked up upbeat, obscure pop music, and put it on shuffle. Though the music wasn't terrible and it did actually fit with the movie, I felt that it was completely uninspired and they could have just done so much more with the soundtrack. Now, going into this movie, I didn't really know anything about it, and I didn't really even know that it was based off a book series. But just going on the movie itself, it became very apparent about halfway through that this movie was going to become a franchise. Because it just gets to a certain point where you're just there like, there is no way that they can wrap this up in the time that they've got. And though I did actually enjoy the ending of this movie, it is definitely left wide open for another movie. But with the way this movie's been reviewing, it seems unlikely that they're going to get a sequel. But who knows, stranger things have happened. Overall, guys, the cast was fine. The story was a bit unoriginal and uninspired, though I did actually quite enjoy it though. But as we're going to see this movie, I can't really recommend that you should go see it, because there are much better superpowered movies that have come out this year alone that you should really go see instead. But having said that, if they made a second movie, I would definitely go see it, because I was interested enough that I would actually want to see more. But having said that as well, if they decide to cut the franchise dead here, I wouldn't be so completely disheartened. Okay guys, that's my review for The Darkest Minds. If you've seen it, what did you think about it? And what's your favourite young adult movie? Whatever it is, drop it in the comments below. And until next time, I've been Michael. See ya!